All right, what's up, everybody? Joe Stolmeyer here. Got a video I'm putting together for you guys on how to put together a tablet gauge setup on the cheap. Been getting some requests on how to do so, and so let me show you. Let me show you what I got. So what I have is a Samsung tablet. It's probably about, I don't know, it's a couple, 3 years old. I think I paid $100 for it. And I just bought it strictly for my LS swap. And hold on a second here. And it fits right here into my gauge cluster. It's perfect. I was able to just wedge it in there. I got one of those rubber cases for it to kind of protect it. And then did an anti-glare lens cover, because sometimes in the sun it'll be hard to see. And this is this app. It's called Torque Pro, or you can also do the Torque Lite. I think they're both free. I think the Torque Pro, I ended up paying $5 to get extra PIDs and extra goodies. But here's what I got. Let me just go to my main gauge cluster here. And it's cool. I mean, it gives me all kinds of measurements of the engine. You know, I've got air fuel ratio, intake, vacuum, timing, trans temp, RPM, coolant, my speedometer, which works well, the torque converter slip, which is really kind of useful, especially when I'm going down the highway in third or fourth gear. It locks out, and I could tell that, you know, it's not slipping. Got my gear selector, clock, and voltage with the coolant temp. And so how this thing works, it Bluetooth connects with the scanner, a scanning tool I have. It's a BAFX products scanning tool, and it ties in to the OBD2 down here. Let me pull it out and I'll show you. It's $21.99 on Amazon, and you just put that in there. BAFX products, OBD2 diagnostic interface, and this thing, I mean, it does way more than give you gauges. It will give you your codes if you have a code showing, or a check engine light showing. It will clear codes. I mean, it does so much more, but definitely well worth the money. You know, I mean, you could buy the Dakota digital gauge, which eventually I'm gonna do, but for $800 to $900, this thing here is about $130, and it works great for what I do. I do have one complaint though, is that the only downfall is the RPM. Basically, this thing is 2 to 3 seconds delayed. So you know, when you're hauling ass, redlining it, and you want to look at the RPM and to see where you're at, it's kind of a little slow, so it's not real accurate in that for that. But it's cool. I mean, it's got all kinds of stuff. I got different pages. So I got a monster tack here, and then I've got a couple pages that don't even have anything on here that I really pay attention to. I guess like GPS position, you know, it does all kinds, RPM, throttle percentage, give me my quarter mile time, my eighth mile times. Again, that's not real accurate, and I think probably because I haven't updated this in a while. And there's just a whole bunch of different PIDs and different things you could set up on this this app, this Torque Pro app, and you know, to tie into your LS engine, so you can measure, you know, get all the measurements from the engine. The only thing I found is I haven't found a good oil pressure gauge on here that works, so I ended up doing a separate oil pressure gauge down here just to make sure I got good oil pressure. But it gives me everything else, and I'm sure it has oil pressure. I'm not doing something wrong. So and then the other cool thing is you could change your screen around. I can move the gauges, I can change the colors, I can change all kinds of stuff, you know. So it definitely is, to me, is well worth the money. So let me plug this thing back in and I'll fire it up and show you. So here we go. There's communicating. It's going to get the temperature, and there's my RPM coming up. And then everything else will come up here in a second. way to do this for cheap, you know. Definitely, if you have any questions, please comment below. I will try to link at least the scanning tool that I've used. And this, from what I understand, this works only on Droid. I don't know if they have a setup for iPhone. Actually, I know they have a setup for iPhone, but it may be a different app or a different, different way of setting this up through this app. But yeah, thanks for checking it out. You guys have a good one. Later.